I feel like your journal can be three things for you, right? It can be a free therapy session for you. It
Mm-hmm.
can be a personal time machine for you, and it can be an idea vault for you. Use it.
Welcome back to the Life, Language, and Lyrics podcast, where the focus is on finding our passions, living in our purpose, and facing our fears. I'm Laina, or some of you may know me as Dr. Davis. I'm a professor, speech language pathologist, baker, and lover of people with the goal of bringing a little Southern comfort to each of you. I'm so excited because this is the fourth season of the podcast, and we're started off with discussing the beauty and joy of journaling with journaling pro Gelisa Lewis. Gelisa is a wellness practitioner and the founder of Think Right Heal, a journaling sanctuary that guides people towards self discovery and personal growth through the power of journaling. A passionate advocate for the healing power of journaling, Jaleesa's own journey with journaling has shaped her approach to wellness. Through Think Right Heal, she creates a nurturing space where individuals can develop a meaningful relationship with their journal, cultivating self love, creativity, and growth. Her deep appreciation for quotes, lyrics, books, and creative writing infuses her work with authenticity and inspiration, making her a compelling voice in the wellness community. Hey, Jaleesa.
Hey,
Thank
hey.
you for joining me today.
I'm so glad to be here. So excited to talk about all the wonderful things and all the beauty and joy of journaling.
Okay, well, then let's get into it. So, the first thing I want to know is just a little bit about you. Like, who is Jaleesa? Where you from? What you do? Tell us about you.
Yeah, so my name's Gelisa. I'm a now journaling coach. I wasn't always a journaling coach, but I'm now a journaling coach. Like you said, I'm a wellness practitioner. I love all things that center around bringing more peace into people's lives. I'm from Edgewood, Maryland. It's about 15 minutes from Baltimore, so I grew up in like that area in the Baltimore County area, Harford County area, and I just love lyrics. I love words. I love poetry. I love reading books. Yeah, it's so many things I'm sure we'll get into, but I'm just a lover of all of the arts, being creative. And I like to use my analytical side too. I had a long running career as an information system consultant for a
Mm-hmm.
long while, was always in the business arena. And then through that business world, I became pretty stressed, right? So that's what
Mm-hmm.
kind of led me into my world of wellness and
Okay.
deeper in my journey of journaling.
Okay, nice. Well, with the lyrics part, I can't wait to hear what kind of things you give us at the end.
A lover of music. My dad was a DJ growing up, so I grew
Oh,
up waking up to like house music in the morning or oldies in the morning,
yeah.
mixing in the morning. So I love music.
Okay, I'm excited about that part. And so you talked about being stressed in the corporate world and then moving into like your world of wellness. How did you actually get into journaling?
Uh-huh. So I always like to say journaling I've always done it, right? And I kind of didn't realize it. I used to think that it started back in the 90s, back during Nickelodeon, when they were doing like
Mm-hmm.
Dear Diary things and like Moesha, because you know that was my girl, her
Mm-hmm.
little theme music and stuff like that. But I really want to take it back a little further than that. I really think it really started in church when I had to be quiet and my mom had to keep me quiet. So what she would
Yeah.
do is it started off with me practicing my cursive. We know cursive doesn't exist anymore for some people, but
Mm-hmm.
she used to make me practice my cursive writing and that would keep me quiet during church. And from there, it just kind of turned in me to just start writing what was in my head. Like I would just write whatever came to mind. It could be anything. It could be a hymn that was being sung during church. It could be something I was seeing during church. And I would just write the things. And that was my way of, at the time, I didn't realize it was journaling, but it was me practicing my handwriting then. And trying not to get in trouble in church. So that's where my journaling journey kind of started. But I think it really connected in high school. During one of my creative writing classes, I had to take an elective and I chose creative writing. And that just opened up my world to so much, a little bit more structured or prompt driven journaling. But that's where my love kind of really sparked. But then after high school, I went to college, and for some reason, I just put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that would have been the perfect time to write everything that happened so I can remember now, because I don't remember half the
Yeah.
stuff that happened in college. But I put it down. And then when I went into the workforce, and like I said, I ended up becoming a consultant, and I was a traveling consultant. So I was on 100% travel. I would
Mm-hmm.
leave on Sunday night and I would return Thursday. So I literally had the weekend to get everything done, doctor's appointments, friend time, family time, everything in like a short amount of time. And for me, that was stressful because
Mm-hmm.
number one, I'm an introvert, so I don't like to do a lot of people in. So to have to do a
Yeah.
lot of people in like such a short period of time, it kind of was like made me very anxious. So that's kind of where I was able to, excuse me, there I became super stressed. Like I didn't know how to, I wouldn't say stressed like they were stressing me out. It's just that I didn't know how to handle it. And I didn't know at the time that that wasn't for me. Like that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. And I was just doing it for the paycheck because it was a nice paycheck. But I was just doing it for the paycheck and it wasn't for the love of anything, right? I didn't feel like it was like in my path of purpose or passion. And I ended up seeing a financial, not a financial advisor, a spiritual advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I think you should journal. And I was just like, you know what? I used to journal all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, that's where it really took off for me. Like life just started changing as I journaled more, and started paying more attention to my feelings through journaling, started reflecting more through my journaling. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of the journaling started with my own growth and being stressed. I
Wow.
know that was kind of like a long way to get to it, but
No, that was
yeah.
great though, because I think there's a lot of people who are in that space right now.
Yeah.
Even myself, sometimes I realized that I had to have a creative outlet,
Right.
and I didn't find it until later. So that's beautiful. I know you've been doing your own journaling, but you also are a journaling coach. So, what
Yes.
inspired you to start teaching journaling as a tool to help others in their own growth and self discovery?
Yeah, so once I got out of my bubble of reflection and everything, I mean, I not got out of because it's an ongoing journey, but once I saw how beneficial it was for me, I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
really want to share this with other people. And I remember being in Philly with my best friend and her cousin, and we ended up going to like a old bookstore. It was like an antique, thrifty bookstore, and got the book Eat, Pray, Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the movie. I remember like vaguely seeing the movie. Like, don't you know how you like watch something but you don't watch it?
Yeah.
I remember seeing bits and pieces, right? And it didn't resonate with me at all. I remember reading the book, and for some reason, the book resonated with me more than the movie did. And it didn't resonate with me in a way where it was like, oh, I have something in common with this woman per se, because we definitely didn't have the same life. But I could resonate with feeling like something was missing,
Right.
right, for me. And that's when I was just, something came to me. I guess it was the good Lord because something in my head just said, think right hill. That from that eat, pray, love, it came think right hill. And I was just like, okay, well, what are you gonna, okay, you got this message. What are you gonna do with it? And I
Mm-hmm.
really just started with journal prompts. I got on Instagram. I got my friend to do a logo for me. I was like, hey, I got this idea where I want to just do journaling prompts to just help guide people to journal or encourage people to journal. And it literally started with me posting quotes,
Mm-hmm.
lyrics from like Janae Aiko, Erica Badu, and all the other people that I love from like that neo soul era, Jill Scott, and all the things, all the beautiful messages that they put in their lyrics. That
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think people are just listening to the tune and they're not really in tune with what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I would post those things and post journal prompts, and people like really started to like gravitate towards it. And they were like, oh my God, like I love this song, or I love this quote, or I love these lyrics. I love this journal prompt. Thank you so much. And I kind of fell off with it. And as soon as I fell off, I would have people like DMing me from that Think Right Hill page, like, where are the journal prompts at, girl? Where are the journal prompts? I need the journal prompts. I was like, oh, people are actually like paying attention
Yeah.
because like any social media platform, like the you kind of gauged by the likes or by like the engagement, but no one was really, in my eyes, really engaging, but they were paying attention. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what got me going on the path of just even thinking about exploring or providing things for people. And from there, I became like, I got into yoga and wellness, became a meditation teacher and things like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
ended up getting a certification in cognitive behavioral life coaching. And through that, it was a lot, I was very journal heavy. And I was just like, oh, this is perfect. So then I wound up getting into the world of becoming a journaling coach, where I just literally encourage people to journal. I create programs, just helping people create a better relationship with their journal.
That I love that. I do. That's beautiful. Um, and I know you've already kind of talked about how it's helped you with your growth and all those kind of things. But what do you think it is about writing stuff down that makes this such a powerful tool?
Yeah, I've done like so much research about this, and like even the doctors or like medical professionals, like medical researchers and things like that, there's like a lot of statistics like, but a lot of the statistics are around like how when people experience traumas and they write their experiences down, it actually helps them process like those complex emotions. It helps them reflect on what happened. And that's not something that can happen by just thinking about it, right? Because we know some of our thoughts can be very fleeting. If we think about how many thoughts we have in one day, like not talking about a week, a month, a year, years,
Mm-hmm.
like we can lose so much of those thoughts. But when you journal, it's like you have like this map to be able to go back and look at it and reflect on it. Research shows that it helps with anxiety, helps reduce anxiety, it helps reduce stress, it helps you stop that overthinking. um I've always been the friend to never give advice, but to always lead people back to themselves. Like I hold space and lead people back to themselves to ask themselves their own question, like, what is going on with you? What's, um, or how are you feeling about these things? And that helps to kind of not compartmentalize, but it helps them to just stop overthinking so much because they're getting it out of their mind and onto the paper. So I think it's just the benefits of it. Like, it's just so many benefits to journaling that I don't think people realize. Even when we're talking about sleep, a lot of us don't sleep great at night. And it's because our
Mm-hmm.
mind's thinking and thinking and thinking. Number one is thinking about the things we can't control. So that's the first thing, right? But if we wrote the thing down and stopped thinking about it so much, I guarantee our sleep will be so much better. I've had people tell me, thank you so much for telling me to write that down. As soon as I wrote it down, I went to sleep and I had a good night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the little benefits that are like big benefits, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I had an experience like that. So I journal every once in a while, not super consistently, but actually the vending event that you did with us in December, the night before that one, I was extremely overwhelmed just from work and all the stuff I had to do. And I was so tired. And I hadn't even started baking that night. I was like, I just got to go to sleep. But then I was like, I'm going to pull out my phone. And I pulled out my phone and I just opened up a note. And all I wrote down was, I am not doing okay today. I am feeling extremely overwhelmed. And Lord, I need your help. That was like, that's it.
That's it.
And I went to sleep. And when I tell you, I had got up at like 4 or 5 so that I could bake. But I felt like a new person that morning and all through that day. And I was like, I think it's because it was bottling up and I
Yeah,
needed to release it
that's it.
and let it go.
Literally, that's it. I tell people that all the time. Like, it don't take much. I'm like, you ain't got to write a 4 page letter like Aaliyah. You don't have to do all of that, right? Sometimes it's a word, like how you're feeling in the moment. Sometimes it's even,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I found myself writing in my journal. Like, I have a lot of journal entries that start with, I don't even know what to write. I don't even know where to start. I just know I feel heavy and I need some type of release. So I'm coming to my journal to be authentic with myself, to be honest with myself, to release this thing and to let it go. And then to your point, you can shut that journal and then go about your day or go about your sleep. And it's just, it feels like a weight's lifted off of you because you did such a small act, but it has such a beautiful big reward.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So in speaking with that, like you were saying, sometimes you just write, I don't know what to write today.
Yeah.
When you get people who are just beginning, how do you help them if they're like feeling intimidated about journaling? How do you guide them?
I think it's kind of like going to kind of something you said about how you say you don't do it consistently. And I always tell people consistency and frequency aren't quite the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your frequency might be different than what you hold in consistency. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't when well how my method of teaching, and some people might not like this, but my method of teaching or sharing and coaching is that you do not have to journal every day. I think that's the number one thing. I think when people feel like they hear about journaling, they think, oh, it's something I have to do every day, and it becomes really daunting to their mind. And it's like, release that first of all. You don't have to journal every day. Maybe your journaling consistency is weekly. Maybe it's monthly. Maybe you only journal when there's an event or when something's going on, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think from there, that can turn into a more consistent frequency, maybe a daily, weekly thing, right? But that's where I always start everybody off. Don't feel like you have to just go full floor, like full speed ahead. Like, I'm going to journal for the next 30 days, every single day. Like, I think that is great when you're trying to like manifest something, or
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to like achieve a goal or something. I think it's
Yeah.
beneficial to do that. But if you're journaling for that release and things like that, or journaling to even find what consistency looks like for you, I think that to get that off of your back to start is like the first place I definitely start with my clients. And also, I'll provide journaling prompts for them so they don't even have to think about what to write about, right? I'll
Mm-hmm.
give like maybe like a little dialogue, and I'll give a journaling prompt like, I don't know. The sky is blue, the grass is green. What are you seeing in front of you? Something simple,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like just something
Mm-hmm.
very simple to kind of get them going. Just kind of, again, to get them out of their heads and get them really onto the paper. And what I find is that when people release how often they're journaling, and when they release what they have to think about what they're journaling about, it just helps guide them a little more. And then I find that they become a little more consistent in whatever consistency looks like for them. Because your journaling practice is like your own. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be what anybody says it has to be, or anything like that. You kind of make it what you need it to be, and it kind of meets you where you are.
That's good. Those are good tips and strategies too.
Yeah, I have so much more, but that's kind of where I start. Like get rid of those thoughts of, and I think it's sorry, and I think it ties back to like perfectionism. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if we don't do it every day, like it's just like, so
Yeah.
so what?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Like, the world didn't stop. The bills kept coming, like
Yeah.
the thoughts kept coming and flowing, but we want to use it as a tool to release and not like this daunting task.
Yeah. Because it's just between you and your journal.
That's it.
Right.
You, your heart, your mind, that's it. Like, and if you believe in a higher power, God, that's who I believe in. Not trying to offend anybody, but like,
Mm-hmm.
that's who it's between. Like, it's the place where you can be your most authentic self. You don't have to put on a mask like we do when we walk out into this world. You don't have to do none of that. You don't have to have perfect grammar. Ain't no grammar police in your journal. It's not like you're writing a dissertation for your doctorate program or anything like that, where you
Right.
got to have citations, and it's none of that in your journal. You can just show up as you, who you are. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think when I first when I first started, I had got a little diary. It felt nostalgic. I mean,
Hmm.
nobody's in my house to read my journal, but it has a little lock on it.
Yeah.
But I was so bothered initially by the fact that my handwriting was so bad. And
Yeah.
I would mess up on words and have to scratch them out because I do have some perfectionism traits. And so I want my writing to be so good. And
Yeah.
now I just get in there, even if it's chicken scratch, I just do what I got to do.
Literally, because it's no perfectionism needed in it. Like, you don't have to show up as a certain person for yourself. You show
Yeah.
up for you, and that's it.
Yeah. That also makes me think that that's probably a great way for people to actually learn who they are and how to become and be themselves as they're writing for themselves as well.
Yeah, it really is. Because, like I said, you don't have to do or put on or be on, like
Mhm.
what we do when we go to work or when we are out in the world. Like, you don't have to do any of that. You can have not brushed your teeth. You ain't had to have no deodorant on, like to journal. Like, you just show up as you. And to your point, like, that's where you can be your most authentic self. I remember watching a show on Netflix, 13 Reasons Why, or 13 something.
I know
But I
what you're talking
remembered,
about.
you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I
I
think it
remember,
was 13 Reasons.
yeah, 13 Reasons, right. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember them saying they were talking about, I don't know if it was like a diary, but they said this is like the journal or the diary or whatever it is the safest place. Like, this is your safest place. Like, you should be able to feel safe in this place. You should
Mm-hmm.
be able to feel authentic because your thoughts need a place to live.
Yeah.
And we don't want our thoughts constantly living in our head because, again, that causes overthinking, that causes imposter syndrome, that causes
Mm-hmm.
stress and
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. When if we put the thing down in a safe place, that's where our thoughts can live. They don't have to stay in here repeating themselves, the same script. You have that? I mean, I know I do. Where sometimes I'll have one thing and it'll play over and over,
Mm-hmm.
like I should have
Mm-hmm.
said this or I should have did that, and it's just like, relax. Like, we put too much on ourselves sometimes. Write that down and let it go. And let it go. Let the thoughts live somewhere else.
I like that. Let that go.
Let it. I mean, seriously, you got to. You have to.
Yeah. So every year I have to get a really nice planner. I've been getting these since I was a kid. But this one is from Think Right Hill with this super cute packaging. Is that not professional? She has like her cards in there. Now look at this. It came with this pen, and then it's just this pretty purple and cream and gray. Even has her logo embossed on it. When you open it up, of course you have to have stickers with your planner, right? I love this one because you can put your vision board on there, all of your plans for the year, and you can really just get your life organized. And I think this might be a good place to even just talk about because you did mention that sometimes people can be intimidated because it looks like a daunting task or they feel like they have to do it every day.
Yeah.
What are some other misconceptions about journaling if we haven't already mentioned all of them?
Okay. I definitely think it's it has to be perfect. Your handwriting has to be perfect. It's another one because I do get that a lot. Like, but my writing so, and it's just like, so.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what your writing looks like. I mean, maybe write it maybe a little legible so when you go back and look at it, you might be able to read it so you can reflect on it. I think that's the big ones. I kind of think we tap into all the ones that I typically encounter. I think safety, people not feeling safe. So when you were talking about that diary and having a lock on it, sometimes everyone isn't in a household where they don't have multiple people in their
Mm-hmm.
household. And they're scared that somebody is going to read it, right?
Yeah.
This is not necessarily a myth, but this is things that I encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real thing, right? Because again, this is supposed that journal's supposed to be a safe place. It's supposed to be where you can be your most authentic self. It's where you maybe rant or cuss people out or tell people off or express how you're truly feeling when you don't want to tell your spouse or your children or different things like that or your significant other. And that comes typically from people haven't had experienced that when they were
Mm-hmm.
younger, their mom or parental figure, father,
Mm-hmm.
whomever, picked up their diary or journal and they read it, and that completely stopped them. So it's like they have this
Mm-hmm.
block, and it's just like, not a myth again, but it's like if we can get that out of our head, maybe get a journal. I'm like, where's the journal with the lock? I got a journal with a lock over here where you can put like in passcode if you think about your luggage when you do the number combination.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of
That's the
those.
one
If
I
that's,
have.
yeah, yeah. So if that's the one like that works, I mean, use that or put it somewhere, I don't know, under the floorboard or something. Like whatever it is, like use the thing to use the journal. Do whatever you got to do to
Yeah.
use the journal. You know what I'm getting at? But as far as myths per se, yeah, I think another myth might be that as soon as you write it down, it's like going to come in that moment. And
Mm-hmm.
I I think it comes true. I'm not gonna say I think. I know it comes true because I have lots of things that I wrote years ago, and when I go back and I look, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm living in this
Yeah.
right now. And it wasn't last month, it wasn't last week, but it was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So just being able to like write those goals and thoughts down may not come in the moment, but believe me, if it's something that is aligned with your purpose and your passion, it's gonna come to pass.
That's
It's
good.
definitely gonna come to pass.
That's good. Ooh, Jaleesa. Okay.
I'm telling you, I love journaling. Like it just does. Like I've been talking about journaling for a long time because Think Right Here was
Yeah.
conceived in 2017, and I just
Okay.
been spreading the word like over the years, like because it works, it works, and I'm proof.
Okay.
I'm proof, and the people that I interact with and I work with are proof. My friends are proof because when they call me, they be like, "This is going on, this is going on." I'm like, "Did you journal about it? Did you write it down?
Mm-hmm.
I can't sleep. Did you try writing it down?"
Yeah.
And then when they literally tell me the same testimony that you had, as soon as they wrote it down, they were able to rest. Even if
Mm-hmm.
it's not a literal sleep, but they were able to rest even within their body, within their mind, within their soul. They were able to rest.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Oof. Okay. So, and I guess you kind of just shared that you've had some friends that once they wrote they were able to share. Do you have any really impactful transformations that you've witnessed that you're able to share?
That's not me because I'm like I can tell you all all the things.
Either one.
I always
I
like
think
to
it'd be
start with me
cool
because
if
I
you
feel
could
like
do
I'm my
one.
biggest testimony. Like I'm a
Okay.
walking testimony of journaling.
Yeah.
Um, I'll try to share one of each, but I think for me, even in what I do now in this wellness space, I remember journaling years ago about how, like when I started getting into yoga, like how I wanted to be able to hold space for others, to go back and return to themselves for self-love,
Mm-hmm.
self-discovery, and growth. And that was years ago. That was when I was again in the business field and information systems. And while I was like doing dibbling and dabbling in the wellness industry, I wasn't in the wellness industry at all. And I'm completely immersed in the wellness industry because, in addition to my journaling coaching, I'm also a wellness practitioner, right? I teach yoga classes, meditation classes. I speak to organizations and companies, just showing them how to relieve stress and how to combat burnout.
Okay.
And that's something that I was able to share through my own experiences in being with coworkers and seeing what they went through and being able to
Mm-hmm.
share that. And even remember talking to my uncle Dennis. He's not with us anymore, but he was like, "What do you want to do? Like, what do you really want to do in life?" I was like, "I really want to be like in wellness." And I started writing about how I wanted to be in wellness, and I
Mm-hmm.
am in wellness fully,
Yeah.
fully. And it was just like I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't think about the house. I didn't write about the house. I just wrote about my desires. I write my prayers down. Sometimes I'll
Mm-hmm.
write scriptures, like have my own personal little Bible study or something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
any books that I'm reading. I'll write the things down or quotes down or excerpts down or share them with other people when they come to me. Um, and I think it's changed my mindset to know and not believe that things can come true when I want
Mm-hmm.
them or desire them. Like I just know. Like I have this knowing and I try to walk in that even on challenging days or tough days when I can't see it in front of me. It's like I have the faith now in knowing. And that all came through journaling. Literally all through journaling. Not saying I didn't have support or help, but through journaling, I was able to just even clearly see, have enough mental clarity to be able to see like where I could maybe show up as a better daughter, a
Mm-hmm.
better friend or family member. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's the biggest transformation. It's just I was transformed through journaling, through writing all those things down. I have a journal for everything. Like I said, I have a journal for my prayers. I have a journal for things I want to manifest. I have a journal for cussing people out. I have a journal for telling people off. Like I just have a journal kind of for everything, for my goals, for planning. Like and it just changes how I move through the world. Like everything doesn't have to be said. Everything doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be acknowledged. There are some times when you got to stand 10 toes and stand on business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think through my journal, I'm able to differentiate between the two, like to know where patience is required or moving forward is required.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's for me. I think again when I talk about like my friends and things like that, I think them being able to incorporate journaling, their excitement coming back to me once they've journaled something or when they realize that they've been journaling this whole time. Because I think people think of journaling simply as like a dear diary situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just writing what happened that day, like in chronological order and things like what happened. And it's just like it's so much more than that. It can be so much more than that because there's so many different ways to journal, right? You got
Mm-hmm.
like bullet journaling, list journaling, junk journaling, creative, like you cutting out clippings journaling. There's so many different
Yeah.
variations because as people we need different things. And to see some of my friends come back and be like, oh my gosh, I felt such a relief when I just wrote that thing down. Or I went back and read this thing and oh my God, that thing came true.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's really nice. And you also, um, I like that you said you have multiple journals for different things because I thought I was kind of over because I have a lot of different journals, and I'm like, maybe this is too much, but I like to keep things in separate spaces for different reasons.
Yeah, I don't think I
Yeah.
need my prayers and my scriptures in the same journal when I'm telling Susan off. Like I don't need those things together. God gonna be like, wait a minute, what are you doing
Oh,
here? Is this
that's
for me or
funny.
who's this for?
Oh, that's good. Um, so as far as like when you actually do journaling, do you have any, or I guess when you're teaching it, do you have any like techniques or styles or suggestions that you have for people for like setting the tone and things like that?
Definitely. So always tell them to find a nice quiet space, first of all. Grab some headphones or turn on your speaker. Find your music. Don't worry about the type of music, whatever your music is, whether that's, I don't know, gospel, neo soul, rap, classical, whatever the music is, turn that
Mm-hmm.
on. Because you want to, again, this is going back to being authentic to ourselves, right? So your
Mm-hmm.
favorite kind of music, turn that on. If you're a person who knows you get distracted by words, find the instrumental version of those songs and turn that
Mm-hmm.
on. Grab a cozy blanket, grab some tea, something, a hot little something to put you and settle, get you settled.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of like to set the atmosphere. Maybe turn the lights down just a little bit, enough so we can see, but and not squinting because it's too dark. But just to like create a mood for yourself. I like to offer people for them to maybe even stretch before they go down the right. Excuse me. I do a program called Pathways and Pens where it's hiking and journaling. And that is because I find that when people do things like they move or they breathe or they meditate prior to coming down to journaling, it's easier for them to let and express themselves out. It's like an easier outlet. So whatever you need to do, maybe you don't need the quiet melodic music, right? Maybe excuse me, you need some uplifting, I don't know, Beyonce, loud, whatever the thing is, right? Maybe you need that type of atmosphere. Again, it's going back to the authenticity of you. So I like to say, what is your thing? I ask them like, what is your flavor? Like what music do you like? All right, let's see if turning that on helps you get in the mood. Maybe some lyrics inspire you to write or journal if you don't know what to journal. Like if you don't have a journaling prompt and you're just doing like a free write, maybe that's how you start off. Maybe you do need some actual movement. So when you stop moving, it's just like when you stop moving, you have all these thoughts that were going on as you were moving, and as soon as you sit down, it's just like, oh yeah, let me get this down,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because your body's calm now. You're in a more still place. So it can be exercising. Sometimes people journal. Like I know after I do yoga, sometimes I'll sit down. I'll bring my journal to class with me, and I'll write down whatever came to me during that session. Or
Okay.
like I said, that pathways and pens. After we're hiking, I find a nice quiet place, typically by the water, for everybody to just okay. We worked our bodies, we've engaged ourselves in a physical way. Now let's sit down and reflect on this question that I have for you. Like, what does peace mean to
Mm-hmm.
you? What does this water remind you of? What does this stillness remind you of? And I think that helps. Those techniques help people to just write more freely and again more authentically because they're not overthinking at that point.
Yeah, that's good. And so what about like people when they say, I don't have time. I don't have enough time to do this. Like maybe they might have 5 to 10 minutes, right? How would you, or what advice would you give them so that they can maximize that short time period?
Yeah, first of all, 5 to 10 minutes is more than enough to get you started on your journaling. I'll be like 60 seconds. Give me 60 seconds, 3 days this week. I tell you, when I say I start small because again, we don't want it to be daunting. You say you don't have time. Okay, cool. Maybe you don't have time to grab your journal and your pen, but you have that phone in your hand every second. Grab your
Mm-hmm.
phone. Like you said, open up that
Pull
notes
up the
app,
note.
put it in the notes. That's still
Mm-hmm.
journaling. Like you're getting the thoughts out. You're getting the goals out. You're getting your aspirations out of your mind and onto something. Put a lock on the notes if you have think
Mm-hmm.
somebody gonna be all up in your phone. You know what I mean? Grab your tablet if you are often on your tablet. There's a journaling app now. If you got an iPhone, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure about Android. No, no hate towards Android, but I don't know about that.
You can lock your notes on Android.
Yeah. Okay, I'm like, can you like? Okay, thank you. So there we go. Yeah, like just grab that, like, and write the thing down. It doesn't, again, it doesn't, you don't have to make it a thing. It doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
like a to do, another thing to put on your list. Like,
Yeah.
it should be a part of your life and a part of you processing through life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's really all about. So that's what I'll give. If you don't have 5 to 10 minutes, even if you, 5 to 10 minutes is, it's amazing. If you don't have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grab your notes, write the things down. Again, it could be the word expressing how you feel in the moment, like exhausted, anxious, happy, joyous. I feel loved. You know, like whatever it is in the moment, you can just date what
Mm-hmm.
you feel and get out of there. Like you
Yeah.
said, you wrote basically a sentence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It don't have to be a lot. And it doesn't take any time. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Because I know my thoughts usually come to me when I'm at a red light or when I'm driving
Yeah.
in the car. You know, most of my thoughts, and I don't have my journal. I can't stop and grab my journal. But if I'm at the red light, I'm like, let me grab my phone
Mm-hmm.
and get out of there. And then the light screen, perfect. Phone goes away. I keep driving, and
Yeah.
I'm done. I've journaled.
Now, do you ever have people that are like, I like to do the audio recordings?
Yes.
Yeah.
I encourage that. I'm gonna be honest. I encourage that because again, I think it's just documenting those thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
feelings, prayers, goals, wherever it is. And if that's how you can get it out, you can always transcribe that
Mm-hmm.
later or something like that if that's what you need. But get it out. If audio recording is what you need, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not traditional with the journaling thing at all. And I probably, if some people are gonna be like, girl, that is not it. But I feel like if it's the release that somebody needs, do
Yeah.
it. Do
Yeah.
it. Call it what you want. Do it.
Because that's what it's really all about
That's what
is,
it's all about.
it's not that you actually have to write. I do find that, because I like the audio, but I do find that there's something that happens. Well, there is a cognitive thing that happens when you write, and especially if you're manifesting and you want to remember things,
Yes.
writing, there is some kind of connection that happens. But I think any way you can just get that stuff out, is going to be helpful.
For sure. Like it's definitely to your point something special about putting that pen to paper. Like it's not the same necessarily, but it'll give you the results of the release. You know what I mean? Like it'll give you the results of the release.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. So I think for this language section, the last thing I think I'll ask you is just, um, if you were just gonna give, if you were gonna go on social media right now and go on live and just give like a word of advice for journaling, what would be like your phrase?
Ooh. I don't know. I have so much to say. I feel like your journal can be three things for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be a free therapy session for you. It
Mm-hmm.
can be a personal time machine for you, and it can be an idea vault for you. Use it.
Okay, now we're at one of my favorite parts where we're going to talk about some lyrics.
Yeah.
And now that I know you're a lyric lover or lover of lyrics, we can get on into this.
Yeah.
So, first, I want you to tell me a song, or you can also tell me some lyrics, um, of what you love to play when you journal and why.
Um, okay. I love I'm a person who I can kind of listen to anything while I'm journaling, but my favorite, like to kind of set the mood for myself, is like a nice R&B instrumental or like
Okay.
old school instrumental. So like I listen to like the jazz, like Frankie Beverly and Mays
Mm-hmm.
instrumentals, or like
Mm-hmm.
something by Robert Glasper, or anybody. I'm like, I listen to like Erica Badu instrumentals, Music Soul Child instrumentals, like any of that, like because the words are powerful, but the beat is so good too. So I love a
Yeah.
like little jazzy instrumental. So that kind of like sets the mood for me. It puts me like in this calm place because again, I like the music of it all, and it's without the words. So I can be clear of they're saying in their words, and I can channel what
Yeah.
I want to say with my words.
Yeah. Okay. My cousin and a lot of my friends have gotten me into lo-fi,
Yes.
which is quite nice. That one helps me a lot when I need to do writing or other types of work. But there, I found that there's also like lo-fi gospel, lo-fi R&B. There's like,
Everything, hip hop, lo-fi hip hop, like it's
yeah.
everything.
So what about a song or lyrics that motivate you to keep pushing when you feel like quitting?
So my favorite they're okay. I have two, but they're kind of like on different ends of the spectrum. So,
Okay.
Amel LaRue, Get Up. It's the one to be
Okay.
like, I see you down, but when you gonna get up? Like that's my
Okay.
favorite. Like I love
Okay.
that song. I can't sing either, y'all, so just ignore that.
Me neither.
Um, I'm like me. But yeah, that's my favorite. I love that one. And then it's another one. It's not too old, but it's like early 2000s. It's
Mm-hmm.
very explicit lyrics, but it's by what's his name? D DG Yola,
Okay.
and it's like I'm trying to think of this. I ain't gonna give up. And it's like, I ain't gonna give up. No, I ain't gonna let up. No, I ain't gonna shut up. No, I ain't gonna let
Yeah.
them haters get to me. No, 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 they'll never get to me. Oh, no, 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 no. That's my favorite. That like just is like, nah, girl, keep going. Like,
I
there's
forgot
stuff
about
going on
that.
around you, but just you got this. Like, it just like amps me up. It's like one of my favorite songs to work out to too.
Okay. I know what you're talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about? Yeah,
You
yeah,
sung that one pretty good.
yeah. Even though that's a rap song, so I sung the rap song and then actually
um,
sang the other song.
let's see. What is a song that helps you relax? I know you talked about the relaxing for
Yeah.
journaling, but just in general.
Um, I would say more recent years. So I'm like I love like oldies. So like anytime I
Okay.
kind of like want to relax or put myself in the mood, I like any old school. I'm talking about like Love's Train, like Always
Mm-hmm.
and Forever. Like those are my things. But I think more recently, like a Cleo Soul album, I can put any Cleo Soul album on in,
Mm-hmm.
or even Janae Aiko. But and I
Yeah.
can just kind of like mellow out, zone out, and it just like puts me in this really relaxed state.
Okay. And then, what is a song that represents you when you're at your best? Like when you in a like really up mood.
Um, Lettucey, Bravo.
Okay.
That's like my amped up anthem. Let
Mm-hmm.
me think. Let me think. All right. It's like what's the how it start? I'm like now I can't think of the lyrics now I'm talking about it. Um,
Pull it up on your phone.
yeah, let me thank you. Help me out. I'm like, what's the
I
lyrics?
think we can vibe though. When I bake, I listen. I have a playlist I call Down Home.
Mm,
Has just all old school, maybe a little bit of country in there.
I like
But it
that.
makes me. I think that's why my baked goods are so good because
All that
it reminds
love.
me. Yeah, all the love. It reminds me of my aunts and my mom, and uh, even baking with my dad.
All right. It'd be like, I ain't even got one sad tear left in me. All I wanna see is the whole world stand up tonight. We're celebrating life. It don't matter who you are. If you've been working hard, give yourself a round of applause. Bravo, oh, bravo,
Uh-oh.
oh. Bravo. Oh, go ahead, clap for yourself. Like that's like when I'm just like feeling myself. I'm like, yeah, like I've been working hard. Like let's
Mhm.
go. Like yeah, I'm that. Like that song like just it's not like super amped up, but it like gets me amped up on the inside
It
because it's
gets
just
you.
like you've been doing your thing. Like you're handling life, challenging or not. Like it's just like clap for yourself. Like that's kind of like
Yeah.
the best represents me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like journaling has also helped you be able to take those moments of reflecting when something good is happening? You know, sometimes we tend to pass by those. Do you feel like journaling has helped you do that better too?
Yeah, I think it helps me acknowledge the joy. It helps me stay in gratitude because I also like every morning do like a gratitude journaling exercise through
Mm-hmm.
one of my self-care journals where it's just like, what would make today great for you? Like how would if you started how would you want to start off today? Like and it helps me stay in gratitude throughout the day. And it helps me find the little pockets of joy because it's just like life can be hard, life can be challenging, but it's not all hard, it's not all challenging. Like I woke up, I have breath, I'm able to move my body. It's like those little things that you find joy in, and it doesn't have to be like the grand shebang of joy, right? But it's like the
Yeah.
little pieces of joy throughout the day. Like a friend called you or checked on you, like it reminds you that you're loved. Like those little things, I think journaling helps just be able to reflect on those.
Yeah, that's good. You know, one of my friends, one of the things she started last year was at the end of every week, she would write down all the good things that happened and she put it in a jar so
Mm.
that it was for the end of the year, but like if she was ever just feeling not so great, she could go back and see
Exactly.
like all the good things that had
Yeah, little
happened.
gratitude jar. I love it. I love it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so also with the lyrics, we like to talk about affirmation scriptures and or quotes. Do you have any favorites that you would share with us?
I do. So my favorite quote is by Pima Chodron, and it says, and it's one I share with all my classes. So if any of my students hear this, they can be like, "Yeah, girl, we know." But it's "You are the sky. Everything else is just the weather." I think that's a
Mm,
constant reminder that
wow.
just like the sky, I am like the peace. I'm the stillness. Like no matter if it's rain, snow, sunshine, no matter like those things are like ebbs and flows. They come and go, right? But
Yeah.
I am that steadfast thing. I am the peace in the middle of any chaos, in the middle of any storm. That's what that quote like instantly
Yeah.
reminds me of every time. And I like to share that with everybody.
That's good. I
And
love that
I
one.
would say my favorite scripture is actually one that I have on my wrist here, if I can turn it right. But it's Proverbs 6. Can I get it in there? All right. Proverbs 16:3. And it's commit thy works unto the Lord and your thoughts will be established. Um, that one again, it just kind of reminds me like if I do what I'm supposed to be doing and if I do it to whom I'm supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
doing it for, like everything else is gonna come, like all the thoughts, all the ideas, what I'm supposed to do next is gonna come at the perfect time. Not when I want it all the time, but
Yeah.
at the perfect time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, I've enjoyed this
Me
conversation.
too.
Yes. And so, Jaleesa, you have a lot of stuff that you're doing with journaling,
I do.
right? You want to share some of those things and
Don't
talk
even
about
know where to
how, also
start.
how people can find you.
So you can find me on probably any social media platform except Facebook at thinkrighthill.com. So thinkrighthill.com. Think Right Hill, sorry. My website is thinkrighthill.com. If anybody has any questions or they're curious about anything, you can find me at info at thinkrighthill.com. Um, I have an e-commerce store through my website, which I sell journals and planners. I have time blockers, and if you go on there, you'll notice that all of my journals and planners are named after some type of musical reference. So like
Mm-hmm.
I got my Stay Scheming from Rick Ross, one of my planners. I got my The Block is Hot, Hot Boys. That's one of my time
Oh,
blocked
that's
planners.
cute.
I have like regular journals. That's ode to Cardi B, a homage to Cardi B. So yeah, I have a lot of little musical references in there. Always and Forever, because that's my all time favorite song by Heat Wave, and it's like my
Yes.
classical style journal. So yeah, Yeah, so you can check me out there. I currently just started. You know how Dr. Burlow started the TikTok, or excuse me, Hillman Talk University on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. So I've
Yeah.
joined the group and I'm doing a journaling one-on-one. The class actually started yesterday. So hopefully by the time you hear this, you can just join in on the fun. And I actually am redirecting everybody to my website where I actually have a course that you can do where I release lessons Tuesday through Thursday, and then I have live TikTok live hours every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, wow.
Um, the summer months are coming up. Like I said, I have that Pathways and Pens where we go hiking slash walking, and then we journal as a group. That's always fun. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what else do I got? And then I always have workshops. Soon for the month of February, sorry, I have 11 layers challenge. So it's talking about like relationships,
Mm-hmm.
self-love and different things like that. Journal prompts I provide every single day. It's a 21-day challenge just to get, again, people reconnected with themselves, because that's what it's all about, right? Leaning us back to ourselves so we can have a little more self-love and appreciation for ourselves. And so when we have that in us, we can spread that out into the world.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You got a lot of stuff
I
going
do. I
on.
have so
And it
many
sounds
things, so many things
exciting.
coming, so many ideas. So if you want to find me, think right Hill. That's where you'll find me.
Love that. Well, Jaleesa, I am so honored to have had you on Life Language and Lyrics
Thank
today.
you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. And hopefully you come back and join us sometime.
You don't got to tempt me with a good time.
Thank you so much.
All right.